you're live, so you're ready.
We're up and running now?
Yep, both of us.
It's good to see CD with us today. She's not being lazy. She drove all the way out here, which is we have to have a little humor, right, through all this craziness, right? All right, so welcome to day 4 of our updates from Leon County Schools and coronavirus and how it's affecting our 33,000 students and 5,000 employees. We'll remind everyone that calmly and together we will get through this as a community. This is a very fluid situation, and we see it trending more towards self-isolation. We know that our students are going to return at the earliest on April the 15th. We keep kicking that can down the road. Jillian Gregory's going to come up in just a minute to talk about academic instruction and how we're going to re-engage with our students on March the 30th. We know next week is an extended spring break period for our students. Our teachers, however, will be finalizing grades from the third 9 weeks and posting those grades, and report cards will go out on time on April the 1st. The week following that, our teachers will be working, as Jillian will explain here shortly, on a plan to enhance and to re-engage with students. On March the 30th, all of our 33,000 students, K-12, will re-engage academically in a distance learning platform that Jillian will explain here shortly. For our staff members, I talked next week about teachers and finishing their grades by 4 p.m. on Friday. Only exempt employees, which means me and the directors and assistant superintendents, only exempt employees will report to their school site and or district cost center next week. All other employees will stay home. Let me also, though, reassure our employees they will suffer no adverse financial impact during this time. They will still be paid their hourly wage. We know that there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear, and most of that is surrounding financial circumstances. So our employees will be paid, and they will be paid on time. As a matter of fact, we have bonus money that our teachers are going to be receiving this month and next month, which is exciting, and a number of our instructional paraprofessionals as well. So next week it will be exempt staff only. The following week, on March the 30th, we're going to kind of see where the country is and where we are as a community. Have we continued down the path of self-isolation and quarantine, or are we swinging the pendulum back to slowly start re-engaging? I'm hopeful that we will shift back. That way I can engage again with bus drivers, food service workers, and others, and we can prop back up the business side of the organization. But you know, again, this is a very fluid situation. We'll have to see how things go. Yesterday, we had a conference call again with Commissioner Corcoran and the Department of Education, and I have to give kudos to the Commissioner. I mean, he has come a long way in a short period of time in understanding the K-12 world, and it's a credit to him. And he's obviously done a lot of work since taking office, but he is well versed in graduation requirements, testing, and the direct impact that those decisions are going to have on our public school system. We know as now there are no state assessments. There will be no assessments for our children this spring, which means also no school grades for next year. There are implications with in regards to teacher evaluations, school recognition money, and other things that will kind of flush out in the days and weeks to come. But the Commissioner yesterday had 2 words. It was compassion and grace. And I've said that, our people have said it, and our teachers, they live it. We're going to have compassion and grace for our students and for our employees. I am committed to ensure that our school year finishes on time. On May the 29th, we have an academic plan where we can get the required number of hours completed by re-engaging on March the 30th through May the 29th, and I'm also committed that our seniors are going to graduate on time. We may or may not have a ceremony, but they're going to get a diploma, and we're going to see them to the finish line in the next phase of their life. I have had a number of seniors that are just pleading that I not cancel their prom, not cancel their grad bash, not cancel their graduation ceremony, and I've tried to tell you, it breaks my heart because these kids have been looking forward to a graduation ceremony for 13 years. And, you know, we have to make decisions based on science, not hysteria, but right now the science says that we gather en masse, and we see those cancellations happening. Maybe something will change between now and the end of May. So we haven't canceled anything, but we know that that there is a great chance that a number of those ceremonies will not happen. Again, I commend the commissioner. He's starting to answer some of the questions surrounding the decision to move to April 15th, and then what that looks like for our schools. He's opened up categorical funds where we can help our students with devices and connectivity issues. They're being as flexible as they possibly can in regards to hours and student contact. And again, when it comes to promotion, we are going to err on the side of the child. Simple. Every single time, we're going to err on the side of the child. So at this time, I'd like Jillian Gregory to come up and dive a little bit more into our academic plan, which will start on March the 30th. So, Ms. Gregory.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jillian Stewart Gregory. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Academic Services for Leon County Schools. Let's begin with our seniors. They are facing unprecedented events in their 12th grade year, and we recognize and honor and respect maybe the place that they're in terms of emotionality, right? They're losing their prom potentially, they're losing their graduation, right? Their graduation ceremony. So we've really worked with each of the high schools, individually and collectively, to develop senior plans for those students. So rather than the seniors participating in the district plan, which we are going forward with when I explain the grade pre-K through 11th grade, each of our high schools is coordinating efforts with their team of senior teachers as well as their students to ensure that all the students complete the requirements necessary for graduation, up to and including credit recovery and the 4 core classes that are required to earn a diploma, as well as those special and elective area courses that the students have spent many years studying. For example, those students in advanced foreign languages. What we are waiting for additional guidance on is direction from the International Baccalaureate Program, as well as College Board regarding advanced placement exams, as well as international baccalaureate exams that lead to designated diplomas. And so we anticipate additional information from both of those organizations in the coming week. In the meantime, we want our seniors, our parents of seniors, to know that our school principals have their back. They're working with their teachers, with their department heads, their teacher leaders, as well as with those individual students to make sure that they get what they need to graduate on time. So with regard to seniors, we've got a plan, and we are working our plan, and each of the plans is relevant to each of the specific high schools, because if you think about our high schools, so many of them are so different. Sale is so different than Child. So again, our school principals have been in conference calls. We've had some face-to-face meetings, keeping in mind the requirements of no less than 10, and we are working forward with a plan. And I do believe our principals are going to be finalizing their local plans and returning them to us by the middle of next week, and we'll be able to implement those plans fully by March 30th for those students. As a reminder, as the superintendent has mentioned, we are on extended spring break for next week. So really what is expected is that students enjoy the week. It's a really tough time, and so whatever that looks like for their families, whether we're in self-isolation, you're in self-quarantine, you're in slightly modified living, or we are required to stay home. At this point, our students are not expected to do academic work next week. It is an extended spring break. Teachers, as the superintendent mentioned, are required, however, by 4 p.m. on March 27th to post their final Q3 grades. And so our teachers can do that electronically. They have the capacity and the training to do that, whether from their home. And so we have we have that in place, and we've had that in place with the launch of our student information system about 20 months ago now. And so we're ready to go ahead and move forward with that. Beginning March 30th through April 10th, we have what we consider our district plan for instructional materials for students to engage in instruction. And so what that looks like is that the district's curriculum developers, that is, these are experts in English, language arts, math, science, and social studies, have developed instructional materials by grade level aligned to our standards that serve as an instructional review for the previous 135 days we've been in school. So we've got those review documents, and we are going to be creating a local website, or a website for parents to access, to get those materials. So those materials will be able to be accessed digitally. So that means that we're going to post it. We have a Co-VID19 website for Leon County Schools. Within that website, we have an academic services page. We're going to post those links there. We also have links that are available to us to use through each school's website. We're going to be pushing out content information there. We will also be able to have the information available to schools to send to a parent should they get an email from a parent asking for content. We will also have an ability for students to get these documents in paper or pencil format. So for those families that don't have access to technology, we are going to be able to provide paper versions of these assignments for those students from March 30th to April 6th in English, language arts, math, science, and social studies in grades K through 11. And those are ready to go, and we're getting ready to package them and send them out. In addition, our students or our families, if they come to one of the 14 food pickup locations, we also will have those packets available in regardless of school, grades K through 11 for families to pick up those packets at those schools. I think what's important to realize is that when a district creates these packets, these are school agnostic. So if you are in a magnet program and you attend a school across town, you don't have to go across town to pick up these materials. You can go to your neighborhood school and pick up the appropriate grade level materials for your student. Again, these materials will be available digitally on the Co-VID19 website, our school website, academic services website, and in paper format. Please contact, if parents need to pick up the materials in a paper format, please contact your child's school so that they can do that and they can develop or organize a pickup time so that our office has somebody there to meet them and greet them. As a reminder, next week is an extended spring break, so there's no expectation that students work. And in fact, we are being intentional. We have the packets ready, we have the website ready to go, but we are not posting the website for students to work next week. We are posting the website, it will go live before the end of the week, but really to be used for the week of March 30th. And the schools and the Leon County Schools distribution centers will have packets ready and available March 30th, and they will be delivered at the end of next week. We've designed the content, as I mentioned, as a review of previously taught standards established by the state and set forth by our district pacing guide. These are district level assignments and materials and may not be perfectly aligned to the exact page your child is on. So I want to level set expectations for parents. If a student was on page 97 in a book, they may have worked, and these assignments start on page 95, right? And so it's not perfectly aligned, but it absolutely reflects where our instructional pacing guide indicates our schools should be, and as a review for the previous 135 days. But all of the work is aligned to the standards and is relevant and germane to student learning. We are also in the process of standing up additional educational resources for families digitally, and we'll have that resource available as a guide for parents, also in paper format and in our district websites and our school websites. These kinds of resources include information from the public library system, various companies such as scholastic.com, and various other resources such as When Betty White Reads or Josh Gad Reads, so that families have an ability to not only do the educational materials that we are providing, but also to provide enhanced academic enrichment activities for their students. Finally, every Leon County student has a unique user ID and password that actually allows them access to digital content assigned to them based on their course schedule. We refer to that as class link. So if you as a parent or your child goes to their school homepage or web page, on the top right corner, there's an icon that says class link. They click on that class link, it takes them to a login page, they log in there, and then what populates their screen is unique to that student. And all of those digital resources, from iReady to AR, those are all available on that ClassLink website. We as a district have made the decision to remove any obstacles or barriers to accessing that. Some of those programs in the past, during normal times, require students to be on our network to access that content. We have removed that requirement, or in the process of removing that requirement, so that parents can access all of those digital tiles and can gain entry into those enhanced academic programs. So again, we've got the core content, what children learn, we've got that covered. We've got these instructional materials that will be posted digitally and be available on paper format so students can work through and review the material that's already been taught in classrooms this year. We have supplemental academic resources that are available to families on the website, and that's going to go live, and that includes all the things that we've seen in social media, right? All of those things like scholastic.com and the Leon County Library System and all those kinds of really wonderful enhancing points of entry for academic work for students. And then we also have our class link, which is student-specific academic enrichment opportunities for our students, right? So all of the different programs that our schools offer digitally are in class link that is unique to the student, tied to their courses, and that they can access. I do want to take a moment and recognize that although I am the person responsible for academics, I really want everyone to recognize and know that we in Leon County Schools recognize that we are in an extraordinary time. For some of us, this is going to be a blip in the radar screen of our lives. But for others of us, we are feeling anxiety and stress, and we may be feeling a lot of pressure. This means for our students as parents and caretakers, we just need to kind of be on the lookout for that. And so while we do have these instructional materials available, we want to stand before you today and assure you that if your child is not ready to engage in academic work, you can take a breath. It's okay. The wonderful thing about distance learning is that you can engage it in any time, any place. So on Monday morning on March 30th at 9 a.m., if your 8-year-old is having a meltdown and they are not ready to do reading, that's okay. Breathe, help them get through that moment, and then try again at 10. Try when they're ready, right? We need to, for some of our students, we really need to let their mental health take the lead. COVID-19 is everywhere. It's on all of the news channels. It's everywhere we look. It's on the radio. Our students are absorbing that. And for some of our students, it might be something that causes anxiety and stress. And as the person responsible for academics, I want you to know that we have these packets available. They're readily accessible. You can do them on Saturday. You can do them on Monday. What is the most important thing is that you understand that you have the flexibility to navigate this work and support your child so that they can learn when they're ready in stressful times. While we will be communicating information with you regularly about long-term plans, there are some helpful tips to kind of help us get through the next couple of weeks. One of them is, and we would encourage all parents to consider, recognizing that we're in a temporary new normal, is to kind of establish procedures and routines. This is when you see at the beginning of the year teachers, when they line the students up and they go out and they practice lining up and they practice sitting down, they practice turning paper in. They're doing that because teachers know establishing routines helps students feel in control and are able to engage. So we absolutely encourage parents to establish routines for their child. Where's your child going to do work? What time do you want them to get up? What is your afternoon going to look like? Know that learning doesn't have to be tied to bookwork. You can go outside, you can find a caterpillar, and you can come inside and look up a caterpillar and find out information online, and your child can do a PowerPoint, or your child can do a drawing, or your child can do all these things. Not everything that a child learns needs to be graded. And so in this time and space, encouraging your child to go outside, to play, to get dirty, to come inside, to clean up. This is not a hurricane. We have hot water. We have electricity. So let's let our children be children. You know, I get lots of questions about the academics. We've got 3 separate sets of plans, right? We've got the instructional materials that are going to be available online March 30th. We've got additional resources that are coming out from, companies and not-for-profit organizations. And we've got our digital content that's already tied to your child's course schedule. We've got lots of academics for you. What we want you to recognize is that it has a place in this space of kind of stress and anxiety. We also realistically expect that our students are going to be exposed to more digital content than is typical, right? They're going to be watching TV maybe somewhat more. They're going to be online a little bit more. And so we would encourage you as parents and caregivers to review any websites or apps that your child is accessing to ensure that they are high quality. One of the key indicators of high quality is what does the content entail? And I think I can think of no better partner with Leon County Schools than WFSU. And so Ms. Kim Kelly is here, and she's going to come up and share with you some of the things that WFSU is undertaking during these times.
Thank you. I'm Kim Kelling. I'm Director of Content and Community Partnerships with WFSU Public Media. And we know that this is a really stressful time. WFSU, as a PBS station, has been partners with education entities in this community, our schools, our teachers, for a long time. So when we looked at what we could do to help serve our students and our families in our community, we looked at the rich content that already exists on PBS. And what we chose to do was to take our main channel, WFSU, which anyone can access. It's over the air, it's on Comcast, it's on DirecTV. However you get your television, PBS is there. But now, instead of being our normal children's programming that starts at 6 a.m., we have shifted our programming to incorporate content that goes from pre-K to 12th grade. So how we did that is we've created 3 blocks of programming. Beginning at 6 a.m., we will have programming from 6 to 8 that's really for preschool to 3rd grade. Some of the content that we've aggregated to that time is Wildcrafts, which features science, Peg plus Cat, which is math, Cyber Chase, which is math, and then Sci Girls, which is science. Then at 8 o'clock, we are shifting our programming for middle school or older students, where we're pulling in some of the national PBS programs such as Nova, History Detectives, The Great American Read, and later we're also pulling in Nature, so that we can be, as we were mentioning earlier, hitting all those subject areas, whether it's language arts, sciences, math, social studies. The afternoon block then switches for high school students, where we'll have programs that are from like Masterpiece that look at literature. We have American Experience, which features a lot of social studies content from US to world history. So this is what we are committing to doing. It will start this Monday. I know Monday the 23rd, this new schedule will start appearing on our station. It's a good time to look at this content, look at the schedule, see if there's some programs there that you think your student would be interested in. Commit to that time. What's great about this programming is that you don't have to have any device to get it, you just need a TV. Now, if you have access to internet, every one of these programs links to PBS Learning Media. So that's pbslearningmedia.org. When you go on that site, you can create an account, it's all free, but then you can go find these programs there and pull up additional academic information, some research questions, ways to dig deeper in that information. Some of it's game-based, some of it's mapping, that is all aligned to Florida's standards. So it's another way for you to support your children as they're in this sort of unusual time we're all going through. So all of that is free again at pbslearningmedia.org. For you to get updates on our schedule so you know what's going on, and our schedule every week will be a new week of content, and as we go through this, new content is coming on board as we clear the rights to get them to air again. So we've been in talks with Ken Burns on putting his Civil War series back on air. All of this content, we're working across the PBS system, across our country, to pull this together for all of our students at this difficult time. So if you want to know where to go on WFSU, you go to wfsu.org/education, and you'll see our daily schedules up there so you can plan out your TV diet, as we like to call it. The other thing, just to let you know, we also have a ton of other resources that our educators are pulling together. We have a support hotline for teachers we're setting up. It will be from 1:30 to 3:30 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if teachers have questions on how to use these resources, they can contact us at the station.